Okay, hi guys, I think I'm live now. If you can see me and if you can hear me, please do let me know in the chat that everything is looking good. Then we'll start today's session. Okay, I think everything seems to be working well. We have people who are joining us right now. Please do like the stream, guys. Today I'll be discussing just 3 points. 3 habits that if you inculcate in your daily schedule, you will be doing very well in the CAT examination. That is basically the plan. This I'm telling you based on my experience. I have been teaching for CAT for the last close to 9-10 years, and I've seen thousands of students who are preparing for CAT, and clearly I could figure out who are the guys who are preparing well and who are the guys who are not preparing well. So I'll be trying to explain to you what I think is the right way to prepare for CAT, especially from a process standpoint. If you have any doubts or any queries, you can always message me in the chat and I'll look at it. We have more than 20 people who have joined us now. Please do like the stream, guys. So, like I just mentioned, we'll be looking at 3 habits. 3 habits if you inculcate in your daily schedule and follow it every single day, then you will be doing very well on the day of the examination. This I'm quite certain. Now, anybody who thinks they have any good ideas about good habits to inculcate for a CAT aspirant, you can message whatever habits that you think are good habits in the chat. I'll look at it and I'll let you know my take on it. Rishi is saying, sir, can an arts background student score 99 percentile 6 months? Definitely anybody can score 99 percentile if they prepare well for 6 months. That is my belief, because CAT is not a very difficult examination. Anybody who has say scored 80% in 10th and 12th is what I would be looking at. Anybody who has scored 80% in 10th and 12th would have the requirements, the foundation that is needed to do very well in the examination. Nasib Pune is saying, hi, sir, good to see you. Hi Nasib, how are you? I feel very happy whenever I see you in our stream. You are one of the most consistent guys, and that actually is also a very good habit. Anybody who is actually attending these streams regularly also shows another thing. It shows that they actually care about the examination. So that also is a good habit. The analyst is saying reading daily. Yeah, very well. That is completely on point. That is the first habit that we'll be discussing today. The first habit that I'll tell you is read every day. You have to read a set number of articles. That number can be anything that you decide, but whatever number that you decide, I want you to read those articles. And what are the sources for you to read the articles? I'll give you an assignment. I want you to take that assignment seriously and do that assignment, and after that use that assignment or the information that you gain from that assignment in your CAT preparation. The first thing I want you to do is download the CAT 2022 papers. You can download the PDF of CAT 2022, all the 3 slots on our Cracku website. Go there and download it. This is going to help you quite a lot. Now, once you download it, all the 3 PDFs, go through the reading comprehension. There will be 4 reading comprehensions in each of the slots. The first reading comprehension, figure out what the source is. You can just Google search the passage and you will figure out what is the website from which the passage has been taken. Do it for all the 4 passages of slot 1. Do it for all the 4 passages of slot 2. Do it for all the 4 passages of slot 3. You will have 12 sources, but these 12 will not be distinct. If you are a smart guy, you will actually figure out that some of the sources are similar, as in one slot's RC from the same source, that is from the same website. 2-3 sources have been 2-3 passages have been given across the 3 different slots. That is one thing that you would notice. Do the same thing for even CAT 2021. Then you will have a list of around 8 to 10 websites which you figure out are important websites. There are many such websites, but there are 8 to 10 websites which you will figure out are basically the sources for most of the CAT reading comprehensions. Now bookmark these 8 to 10 websites. From those 8 to 10 websites, every day I want you to read a total of around 5 passages. 5 articles. The article should be good articles, something like say either current affairs, or it can be mostly opinion articles. And the opinion article should not be just based on politics. Many people are quite interested in politics, so to say. So at least they don't find it boring, so they go through it. But that is not a good strategy for CAT. You have to go through different varieties of passages. So every day go to these websites and read at least 5 paragraphs, 5 passages from these websites. The passages should be, some of them should be related to science, some of them should be related to art, some of them should be related to history, different things. And every day ensure that you are reading 5 articles and keep track of these articles, the number of articles that you read every day. The reason to do that is just because you will inculcate a habit. So maybe you can keep a habit tracker, maybe you can keep a book. wherein once you read a passage, just note down the title of the passage. Any article that you read, just note down the title of the article, so that once you are done with 5 articles, you know that okay, I have completed my quota for today. Do it for like say 10 days, and after that you will have that habit. People normally say that if you do the same thing for 20 days, you will inculcate that habit, or that habit will be ingrained in you. So try to do it for 2-3 weeks. Keep note of every article that you read, just note down the title of the article in a book. That's it. And keep track of it. That is a very good habit, and I have seen students improve their verbal percentile from 60s to 95 plus. Just following this habit on a consistent and a daily basis. It helps quite a lot. You also become very confident, because then your reading skills also improve, your comprehension skills improve, your concentration levels improve. All of them will improve. So this is a very good habit, and this is how you should actually approach this reading. Okay, let me look at some of the doubts. Also, if you think there is any good habit that CAT aspirant should inculcate, please do message in the chat. Please do comment in the chat. I'll go through them and I'll let you know my thoughts. In the meantime, let me go through some of the questions that you have asked. Sir, is BCA considered engineering or non-engineering? Most likely, I think it is non-engineering. I think BTech would be BTech and BE would be engineering. Riya Khanna is saying hi, sir. Hi, Riya. Siddhant Rawat is saying, sir, I am having a gap of 1 year. Is it a matter of concern? Not really, but try not to have a gap year. That is better. If you have a job, try to stick to that job. Don't quit your job before CAT. If you don't have a job, try to find a job. Sachin Kansal is saying, solving 3-4 sets of RC DILR every day. I would tell you that solving a lot of RCs at this point in your journey is not very useful, because what tends to happen is you'll solve an RC but you won't improve. Just by solving an RC you gain not a lot. Instead of spending the time on solving RCs, like I was saying, if you spend the time on reading passages, that is much better, because you will at least gain the habit of reading. Maybe solve 1 RC, that is sufficient. Solving 3-4 RCs, because every RC will also take time. It is not that it is something that you can just buy. Solving 3 RCs, if you are doing a good job, every RC should take around say 15 minutes. So if you are solving 4 RCs, that is going to take 1 hour of your time. That is a lot of time, no? Because you would want to spend the time in doing more productive things also. Solving DLR sets, I think, is very useful. Try to solve at least 1 to 2 LRDS sets. That is not part of the habits that I wanted to mention. But if you are able to inculcate a habit of solving 1 DLR every day, that is a very good habit. Let me look at some of the other suggestions that they have given. After that, I'll tell you my second suggestion for the habit that you should inculcate. Sir, good evening. I started reading Aeon Essays a couple of days ago. Any other thing that you would suggest? Thanks. Vikas Gangwar, Aeon is a very good website. That is one of the websites that I would suggest. But like I mentioned earlier, I would want you to put in the effort, because if I just tell you that, okay, these are the list of 4 or 5 websites, it won't stick much. You would do it for a day or you would do it for 2 days, but then it would be just another suggestion or a tip that some mentor has given you. If you actually download the CAT 2022 PDF, if you figure out the websites, and it is very easy, you figure out the websites from which all the RCs have been taken. Once you figure out the websites, you will realize the importance of browsing those websites on a daily basis. So I want you to do that so that it will stick in your mind more for longer. Reading or solving RCs, which is more beneficial? I would say right now, reading passages on a consistent basis is more important. Physics coach is saying, any new CAT batch currently? Please do send a mail to support@cracku.in. We have batches that are starting very soon. So definitely we will let you know the latest batch that you can join. Please do send a mail to support@cracku.in. Nasi Punia, don't do that. Nasi Punia is saying, I am thinking of quitting my job to prepare for CAT. This time I have no choice but to get into IIM. That is good if you take it so seriously, but I would recommend you to not quit, because on the day of the examination, I don't want you to have unnecessary stress. This is my opinion, because on the day of the examination, you would want to keep your stress levels as low as possible. Imagine, picture yourself entering the examination hall. You're already nervous. Okay, there are a lot of people, a lot of students in the examination hall. You're already nervous. You're wondering whether you'll do well, whether you'll make any silly mistake. You don't want all of that. Okay, you're also worried that what will happen if I just get stuck in a RC, or if I get stuck in a DLR set. You have all of this stress going on in your head. You don't want to add a more important stress that, okay, if I don't do well in this examination, what next? I have no job. So what am I going to do? That should not affect you. Normally, if you're able to decrease your stress level as much as possible, that is what you should always do. So if you quit your job and if you prepare for CAT, in my opinion, on the day of the examination, you will be more stressed out. That will impact your performance in the examination. Sagar Sakale is saying, hello sir, how are you? Last year my CAT was 71 percentile, only general category. I didn't get time to read and practice, but now I want to give my best. Is it possible to reach up to the magic numbers? See, I'm telling you this, no, in my opinion, anybody who has a decent foundation in 10th and 12th. What is the definition of decent? Anybody who has scored say 80% plus in 10th and 12th, especially in maths. Okay, that person I think has the foundation that is needed to get a very good score. And how do I define a very good score in CAT? A very good score would be 96, 97 percentile plus. Okay, anybody who has that I think has the potential to get 97 percentile plus. More than that will depend on their individual efforts, will also depend on their individual aptitude, all of these things. But getting 96, 97 percentile for somebody who has gotten 80 percentile plus consistently and who has done academically well is not at all difficult. You have to just ensure that you are consistently preparing on a daily basis. Let us look at the second habit that I would want you to follow. The first habit is very, very useful for you from a verbal standpoint. The second habit is very, very useful for you from a quant standpoint. Quant, basically what I want you to keep is a formula notebook. We have already given a formula PDFs. We already have a formula book, a printed formula book that we send to all the premium students of Cracku, which contains all the important formulas that are needed for CAT. If you don't have it, that is fine. You can download the formula PDF on our website. But in addition to it, I want you to have a notebook. That should be your designated notebook to keep all the important formulas or shortcuts or tricks that you learn while preparing for CAT. So sometimes what happens is you solve a question, you solve it in a long way. Then you look at the solution, you figure out that there is a very nice, simple, elegant way to solve it. Note it down in that notebook. And then keep it always with you wherever you are preparing, in whichever room you are preparing, keep it with you and keep noting down important things, not a lot of things. You don't note down any explanation or any solution, only a formula, only a trick, only a shortcut, only those things should be kept in the notebook. And keep updating the notebook on a daily basis. If you find a new way of solving anything, write it down. If you find a new formula, write it down. If you find out a new trick, write it down. This notebook, before you sleep, every day spend 10-15 minutes going through the notebook and then go to sleep. The reason for that is because many times when we solve a nice question or an important formula, we tend to forget it after a few months. But if you're revising this on a daily basis, you don't need to spend a lot of time also. If you write the formula yourself, if you understand the formula and if you put it down on with your own pen and paper, you will remember it for longer, especially if you're revising this before sleeping every day. Again, I don't want you to spend half an hour or 45 minutes every day revising it. Don't spend that much time. Write it down every day, spend 5 to 10 minutes. Just go through all the formulas because then it will keep sticking. Then when you get a similar question, the formula, which formula to apply will automatically come to you. Many people, for example, ask me how I do very well in quant. Normally, I think for people who don't know, I do quite well in quant in CAT examination. In 2019, I scored full in quant. In 2020, I got one question wrong. In 2021, I got one question wrong. In 2022, again, I scored full. Normally, I tend to do very well in quant. Many people ask me, how do you do that? Now, the trick is very simple. When I look at a question in quant, within 5 to 10 seconds, I know how to approach the question. Immediately, I know what the first step should be. Now, how did I get that ability to do it? It is because I think most likely, more than anybody else in the country, I've solved more quant questions. Because for every dash cat that we have, I solve all the questions. For every daily target, I record the videos. So I have to solve the question first and then I record the videos. I make videos for the previous papers, CAT previous papers. So on a daily basis, if there is a doubt, if somebody has asked a doubt on our CAT platform, I look at the doubt. So on a daily basis, I solve so many quant questions that when I look at the question, I know immediately how to start answering it. Imagine if you are having this formula PDF and if you are revising this formula PDF on a daily basis, not for a long time, but even for say 5-10 minutes every day. If you are looking at all the important formulas that you have written, and once you look at the question on the day of the examination, if it is a formula which you have revised, you will immediately know how to start answering it. That is the reason I would recommend you to keep this formula book and revise it regularly, because people can score much higher in quant than what they really imagine. Many people have this phobia for quant. Many people feel that, okay, in quant, out of 22, if I can get 10 questions correct, it is very good. But somebody who is aiming for 10, if they are really focused, if they are putting consistent efforts on a daily basis, and if they are slightly more ambitious, 10 can easily become 15. Because that is what I have seen. Many students who suddenly feel that, okay, quant is very difficult, or many people who feel that, okay, I get confused in important concepts, or somebody who feels that I get very nervous. All of these things will go away if you practice and if you revise on a consistent daily basis. So definitely keep this formula book and write down whatever formulas that you find new, write down whatever tricks that you think are new. Whenever you get time, every day, at least for 5 minutes, revise them. Just go through them, because if you write down the formulas yourself, it won't take long for you to revise. If you are just looking at a book, it will take you a lot of time to actually revise, because you wouldn't really understand it when you're revising it also. But if you write it down, you will remember what you thought when you're writing it down. You will remember what was the question that you solved, based on which you actually wrote down this formula. That is the reason this formula book should be in your own handwriting. This is the second tip that I'm saying. If you have any doubts, if you have any queries, or if you have any advice that you want to give your fellow aspirants, please message in the chat. I look at the chat, and if it is a good advice, I would recommend it to everyone. Harshit Dubey is saying, sir, I have joined Cracku 6-month batch and I'm a non-engineer. Is it possible to crack CAT in 6 months with clear basics? Yeah, definitely. See, that's what I'm telling you. No, 6 months is a long time. If you daily put in consistent efforts, that is what I always believe in. I don't believe in miracles. Somebody who doesn't prepare and on the day of the CAT, I have seen that also happen. Many people waste of these 6 months, and 1 week before CAT, they tell me that, okay, I'm very motivated. I've watched a very motivating video. I'm going to do very well in CAT. I tell those people that, okay, all the best, do well. But inside, I know that that is not going to happen. I don't demotivate them on their face. But when somebody says these kind of things, where they haven't prepared for 6 months, but they are expecting some miracle to happen on the day of the examination, that won't happen. Alternatively, somebody who's preparing hard every day for 6 months, I know again consistently that, okay, this guy is definitely going to do well in CAT. Things become very apparent to me when I look at a student sometime in, say, October. Based on the amount of effort that they have put in the last few months, that starts showing in their mock performance in October, in September, October. So if you're putting in effort on a daily basis, I'm sure 6 months is more than enough for you to do very well. Harsh Vachan is saying how to analyze mocks. I've already mentioned that in some of the streams earlier. Please go through it, or we are going to post a link to do that. We have done a lot of videos also. You can just search on YouTube how to analyze mocks Cracku, or just search Cracku analyze CAT mocks, something like that. Because I have done a stream on it, Saili has done a stream on it. It is very detailed. We explain how to analyze each of the 3 sections, quant, LRD and verbal. I've completed, Manoj Rathi saying, I've completed graduation in 2022 in BCom and preparing for CAT 2023. Does gap year matter? Gap year does matter, man. Gap year is something that I would recommend people to not have. So if you still have time and if you have the opportunity, I would recommend you to try to find a job. Having a job is definitely better when you're taking CAT than not having a job. Also guys, we have more than 60 people who are watching this stream live. Please do like the stream. We have very few likes. So if you like the stream, I'll be more incentivized, I'll be more motivated, more encouraged to do these kind of streams on a daily basis. Ashish is saying, sir, I want only quant classes. Is this option available for CAT? Yeah, there is an option available for just the quant course for Cracku. Please do message us. Please do email us at support@cracku.in, or we are actually going to give you our WhatsApp number, our support WhatsApp number. Please do message on WhatsApp. We'll reply back tomorrow morning. We are going to message you the WhatsApp number of Cracku support shortly. It will be there in the chat. Deepak R is saying, hi sir, how to control my anxiety? I think about CAT 24/7 and that is impacting my performance in a negative way. That is not good. Anxiety unfortunately is quite a lot these days in people, especially in youngsters. But you have to remember that it is not good. You have to first identify that, okay, I'm anxious. It is a good thing you have identified it. You have to also start dealing with it. One of the things that I always tell students is that you are not the only guy who is anxious. When you go to the examination hall and you see hundreds of students around you, you will get anxious obviously, but you should also be logical enough and you should tell yourself that everybody else around me is also anxious. Nobody over here is not anxious. And if somebody is not anxious, then they are not going to do well. That is there. Because you have to be, there is something called the right amount of nervousness. You should care just about enough so that you are nervous. If you don't care, then you are not nervous and then you are not going to prepare. And even on the day of the examination, you won't give your best. You will be slightly lackadaisical in your approach. So being the right amount of anxiousness is actually good. Having said that, try to control it. There are different ways in which you can control your anxiety in general. Maybe go for a run sometimes, maybe go for a walk, try to distract yourself, spend time with your family. All of these things will definitely help in reducing your anxiety. Okay, Kishan is saying, I've been preparing for 5 months. I do well in Cracku daily targets, but not able to score well in full length mocks. Okay. On that note, let me tell you the third tip that I have. The third tip I have is religiously solving Cracku daily targets. If there is one good resource for you, which is going to help you a lot in CAT, that is Cracku daily targets. They are taken every day by thousands of students. Nearly everybody who is preparing seriously for CAT takes Cracku daily targets on a daily basis. In daily targets, we give one test in Quant, one test in LRDA and one test in verbal. All of them have video solutions. That is the best resource that you can have to prepare well for CAT. Imagine again, like I've been stressing a lot about consistency. If you are a serious aspirant for CAT, and every day if you are solving our Cracku daily target, you'll be solving in 6 months. Maybe if you are doing it for the last 1 month or so, you have around 7 months. So you'll be solving around 150 to 180 LRDA sets. If you don't get the question correct, you can look at the video solutions. Imagine on the day of the examination how confident you will be. You will feel that, okay, I have solved hundreds and hundreds of diverse LRDA sets. Different, very interesting LRDA sets. And once I didn't get it, I have looked at the video solution. You will feel so confident on the day of the examination. That confidence is also very important for you to do well on the day of the examination. And your foundation itself will become much better if you are practicing on a daily basis. Cracku daily targets help a lot of students. Recently, for example, the results of the top IIMs have come. IIM Ahmedabad, IIM Calcutta. Many of these institutes have given their final results. Many students messaged me. Many students told me that they have taken the Cracku daily targets and that has helped them quite a lot. Now, this is the third tip that I'm going to give you. Solve Cracku daily targets on a daily basis. It won't take you more than 45 minutes. It will take you 15 minutes for Quant, 15 for LRDA, 15 for verbal. 45 minutes very well spent on a daily basis. So these are the 3 tips I have. The first tip is reading regularly. Make a list of the websites from which the last 1-2 years reading comprehensions have come. And bookmark those pages. Every day read at least 5 articles in all from these sources. I don't want you to read 5 articles from each of these sources. That will become too much. But in general, read around 5 articles and make a list of the titles. I want you to make a list of the titles just because you recognize that you have read an article. You recognize again the effort that you have done. Because if you keep a list of the titles, again on the day of the examination, once you look at that notebook which contains all the titles, imagine how confident you will be. You will have a hard copy of the titles that you have read. You will realize that, okay, I have spent so much effort. I have put in so much hard work. That confidence will make you sail through the verbal section. The second thing is having a formula PDF. Have a formula notebook. Every time that you see a new formula or a shortcut or a trick, put it down in your formula notebook and revise it for 5-10 minutes before you sleep every day. Again, keep it with you so that you also feel that, okay, I'm putting in effort. On the day of the examination, everything should align your confidence. Everything should feel that, okay, it should reflect the amount of effort that you have put in. The third tip is solving the daily targets. There is no better resource on the internet for somebody who is preparing well for CAT other than the Cracku daily targets. Be very religious about it. Every single day, don't miss. Ensure that you're taking the Cracku daily targets. They will help you quite a lot. And on the day of the examination, you will feel really thankful. Okay, now other than that, let me look at some of the questions and after that I'll say. Ratul Sharma, hello sir, I don't know if you recognize me, but I've attempted CAT more than once and CAT 22 did go well, only for LRDA part to fall short. I've still not given up trying to find some job to uplift profile. Ratul, I like the attitude that you have. I like the decision you have taken, which is to try to find a job. Sometimes you will have setbacks, don't worry about it. Everybody has setbacks. Like when I first took CAT, I qualified my sectionals of Quant and LRDA where I cleared the sectional cutoffs, but my verbal, I did not clear it. And in those days, the cutoffs was not 80%. The cutoffs in each of the sectionals was that I had to cross 95%. And my verbal sectional was very low. So, but somehow I got one IIM shortlist. I attended the interview and I was not selected. So it was demotivating. But the next year, I was managed to do well in all the 3 sections and I got many of the shortlists. So the point I'm making is that many times you will have setbacks, but you should take it in your stride and prepare well for the next time. I've seen this happen to many students. Many very smart guys also, just by 1 mark, they were not able to clear the cutoff. This especially is very heartbreaking if it happens in XLRA. Many students, many very smart guys manage to do very well in that, only for them to fall slightly short in DM. And DM is also slightly subjective. You can't really say why a particular answer is correct and why a particular answer is wrong. So if it is in say Quant, they can tell themselves that okay, I didn't perform well on that day. But if it is in DM and they've scored very well in Quant and verbal, it becomes slightly more discouraging. But these guys have put into it. Okay. Sorry guys, sorry for getting disconnected. Okay. Okay, let me answer a few more questions before ending the stream. Riya Kanai is saying, sir, how can we start developing GD skills from now on? I don't think that is really important right now. I would recommend you to focus on doing well in CAT right now. And then we can focus on GD, because you will still have time for group discussion after CAT. You will have at least 2-3 months to focus on group discussion. So right now, don't focus on it, is what I would recommend you to do. Ratul Sharma, all the best. It is very pleasing to see that attitude. That is the attitude of a fighter, and I always like students who don't give up. So that is very good. Continue to keep that attitude. Kirti Gargi is saying, sir, does completion of 3-year degree in 4 years because of re-up in one subject affect admission chances after cracking CAT? See, again, I don't want to sugarcoat to you. That is not ideal. If you are taking more time to graduate than what is the recommended time, it is not ideal, but it won't hurt. It won't hurt as much as you think it does. It is more psychological. I know at least 2-3 people who have gone to top IIMs. IIM Calcutta, for example, who have completed their 4-year degree in 6 years. So that happens. I've seen many people who have done that. So don't worry about it. It is not in your hands. Again, it is not ideal. Ideally, you should have cleared your 3-year degree in 3 years. But if it has become 4 years, what can you do about it? Know that there are other people who have also faced similar situations and they have been able to get a top institute admit. Deepak Agarwal, I would recommend you to not leave any topic, because you have time. You have 6 months and you have to use these 6 months to work on your areas of weakness. Leaving functions is a bad idea. Functions is an important topic. Sometimes you will get a very easy question from functions. What are you going to do? If you know the concepts, if you know the basics, you will get 3 marks. And 3 marks is gold, no? Why leave it? Permutations, combinations also, for a different reason, I would recommend you to not give up. Because permutations, combinations sometimes will be very useful for you in LRDA. You might sometimes get an entire set correct if you know the concepts of permutations and combinations. For example, in an LRDA set, they might ask you that there is some password, there is a key and there is a password. And you have to figure out what are the different combinations that are allowed. These kind of questions often come. You can, for example, imagine the situation where somebody has to key in a number to open a lock, and that number will have certain properties. It has to be maybe a multiple of 4 or multiple of 5. Only 2 digits can be repeated. Something like that will be the needed for you to open the this lock. And an LRDA set can be made on these lines. So permutations, combinations is an important topic. In Quant, maybe you'll get only one question, maybe, but it is possible that an entire LRDA set you'll get if you know the permutations, combinations concepts. Darshit Shah is saying, sir, पूरा LRDA daily target में से ही आएगा. If that was the case, then it would be very nice. But what I can assure you is that your ability in LRDA will improve significantly if you do every daily target. That I can tell you. So on the day of the examination, you will feel much more confident. You will be much better prepared. Those are things that I can assure you if you are doing daily targets. What makes the top 1 percentile different? KZ is asking. The top 1%, I think the difference between 1% and the top 1%, that is getting 99 percentile and 99.9 percentile, the difference is that the top 0.1 percentile guys do very well in one particular section. They completely ace either quant or verbal, or sometimes LRDA. But quant and verbal are more predictable. Somebody who is very good at verbal tends to do well in all verbal mocks. Somebody who is good at quant tends to do well in all quant mocks. So typically they will score around say 95, 96 percentile in 2 sections and close to 100 percentile in the 3rd section. These guys really increase their overall percentile, as compared to somebody who scores 95 in 2 sections and say 97 in the 3rd section. Does well in all the 3 sections, you will get 99 percentile. You do well in 2 sections, but completely ace one section, you will get 99.9 percentile. That is basically the strategy that is followed. Okay guys, please do like the stream. We have around 50 likes and please do tune in tomorrow. I'll answer one last question. If you have any questions, please do message in the chat and after that we'll end the stream. For some reason, I'm not able to see the questions that are asked. Okay. Okay guys, VARC tips, Samir Mondekar. VARC tips, I would recommend you to focus on RCs. And to focus on RCs, develop the reading habit that I discussed. That is the first important habit that I discussed. So focus on reading at least 5 articles every single day. So just to reiterate for this stream, for people who have just joined us, the 3 habits that are very important. The first one is reading at least 5 articles from important websites. Important websites are the websites from which many of the RCs actually come, or at least have come in the last 2-3 years. The second one is keeping a quant formula book. Every day, if you see a new question, or if you see a new trick or a new formula that is used in quant, note it down in your formula notebook. Have a formula notebook dedicated for important formulas, and whenever you see a new formula, note it down in your book and revise from this notebook at least for 5 minutes before you sleep every day. The last habit that I want you to inculcate very seriously is doing our Cracku daily targets every day religiously. Cracku daily targets will help you quite a lot. Thousands of students take our daily targets every day. So definitely that is the third habit that I would encourage you to have. Thanks guys, thanks for tuning in.